Okay, it looks like we're going, I think.
Okay, sounds good. So let's go ahead and jump in. So the first order of business tonight would be to review the meeting minutes from the last meeting. They definitely weren't as beautiful as the ones that you normally put together, Rick.
They look good.
And yeah, I wasn't able to attach them for some reason. But maybe if we can just review what we had talked about. And then were you going to like convert those and post them in another format or something?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll post them in other team's channel.
Okay, so I'll just go over them very quickly. We had reviewed and approved the previous meeting minutes. I had motioned to approve and Patrick seconded. We did review the Mass CFA data. We went over the 3 measurements, the beginning of year, middle year, of end of year. And the key pattern that we saw is that kindergarten did very well, and then there was kind of a gradual decline all the way to 6th grade, where 3% of the students were in the green category. And so we kind of talked through that the concern is that the scores are decreasing as we move up through those grade levels. We talked about the path forward, discussing that Dan, you're looking at, or Mr. Hansen, you're looking at different strategies and approaches to try and improve the scores next year.
Right, and our math coach, I think, is integral, to that process of really looking at what strategies our teachers are using for mathematics instruction, and then really trying to promote, the research strategies that she's been trained on and that the district is providing training on to all of our math instructional coaches throughout the district to try to promote the most effective instructional strategies in the classroom.
Yep. We then talked about the extended day kindergarten program, where we had applied for that and the decision was pending. Did you hear back on that application?
So I know that our district has received a certain number of slots. I have indicated that we are interested in it. The number of slots is such that if we were awarded a grant to do another session of full day kindergarten, that it would probably only be for one of the sessions. So currently we are a 3-session kindergarten school. Before COVID, we were a 4-session kindergarten school, but we haven't quite gotten back to that number. Right now, we are slotted to run 1 full day kindergarten session next year. If our school is selected for the grant, then we may have 2 full day sessions and 1 half-day session.
Okay. So the kindergarten space, just out of curiosity, essentially has 2 rooms, right?
That is correct.
So you have like a morning and an afternoon on one side and then an all day on the other. How would that work if there were 2 all day?
If there were 2 all day,
part day, is there another room available?
Well, we would say that we are interested enough in the program that we would try to make another room available. And so we have a special education classroom that's currently next to the kindergarten, to kindergarten classrooms. It doesn't have a bathroom, which is a convenient, it's a convenience that the kindergarten classrooms have, especially with little kids and small bladders and things like that. But it's in close proximity, and it's probably the best placement for the kindergarten session that we could come up with under the circumstances. And so, if we do get it, we will do the 2 full day sessions in our current kindergarten classrooms, and then we would do a half day session somewhere else.
Okay. Sounds good. And then we closed the meeting. So that was our full agenda last time. Any concerns with anything I captured on the meeting minutes? Okay, if not, I'll motion to approve them. I suppose Patrick or
I'll second it.
We need to second it. Over here. Okay. Cool. Thanks all. So
Just-
then,
Just as a quick note, I did transcribe those and put into like how I format them, and they're in the other team's channel.
okay, great. Thanks, Rick. All right, so the key agenda item for tonight is to just take a look at our rules of order and discuss if there's anything that we'd like to adjust for the upcoming school year. Would it be easiest if I shared my screen for us
I
to
think
walk through
so.
those?
Yep. And
Okay.
then you can just pull up our website that has the rules of order procedure right there, and then we can kind of go through it and see if there's any changes that
Yep.
people want to make.
So just a few initial thoughts that come to my mind around the rules of order. One of the things that we did last year on the rules of order was change the size of the participant group.
Uh-huh.
And let me find where that language lives. So what was that?
I was just going to say, yep, right there underneath the council members.
Yep. So we say the council consists of both parents and school staff, which includes the principal and the assistant principal. The council should have no more than 7 voting parent council seats and at least 6, half of whom should be elected in even years and half in odd years. There must always be 2 more parent members than school employees. In the event there's a tie in an election, an additional election will be held between 2 representatives who received. Oh, this is on like voting for the members. But the key thing I wanted to point out here is that like 3 years ago, we had 13 parents show up and it, like 8 school staff, and it was just a lot of conversation that made it hard to get through things.
Yep.
I think these numbers make a lot of sense. But this year, in place of having 6 or 7 voting parents, we got essentially 4 of us. And so one thing I'd like to try and focus on maybe next fall is maybe a little bit of a recruiting effort, maybe through email or even through like back to school night, just to try and get, a little bit more interest. So
I agree. I think that it's I think we would have liked more representation from parents this year. We always try to be sensitive to parent needs, but we always kind of need to be in the recruiting phase, I think, because we got to be getting the next community council leadership ready while we you participants may have a limited window on when you can participate, and so making sure that we are getting the next people waiting in the wings, so to speak, ready to participate or whatever, while we still have people that have good experience on community council is important. I do know that my very first year at King that we had a really big back to school push, and we tried to talk to people more about what community council was. I'm happy to allow community council members to speak at back to school night. So if you want to get up there and talk to parents a little bit about what community council is, I think hearing from another parent is more powerful than hearing from the principal, because you're usually people that are parents that are on community council are, more prominent features in the community with a lot of people. And so there are people that know you or whatever, and that might pique some more interest that way. So I think
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something we want to do. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it was Mike talking at back to school night that recruited me to join community council. Right. He lives in my neighborhood,
Right. Yep.
So yeah, I think that would be really good, and I would be happy to speak at back to school night, or
great, yeah.
If there's any, remind me, is back to school night, like, is there there's a meeting for parents, right?
There is a meeting for parents that we do a general meeting before we kind of have done an open house format. And so, we do a small meeting, the PTA does a small meeting, but the community council is definitely another committee that we really want representation at. And
Okay.
so even, Adam may be willing to volunteer to speak or say something, but Rick and Sydney, I know Patrick, you could be at your own school doing your back to school night, so it might be difficult for you to attend. But Rick and Sydney, if it's something that you could attend to, if you can at least talk about what community council is, because I think again, just letting parents know what it is and how they can be involved and things like that is great to hear from other parents.
Yeah, I don't mind doing it either. I had a comment. I have a question too. What we were talking about earlier, but one thing that was hard for me to get on community council was like some of the dates were. It was difficult to find out how to get on community council, if that makes sense. So it might be good to like talk about what needs to happen to get on, to be nominated and things like that.
Meaning like the election process, or
Yeah, like it took me a while to figure out that I had to go to Stephanie to put my name into it and be nominated to
Okay.
and just like what's the process to get on to, I think we could talk about that in our presentation of like if you're interested, stop by.
And so one thing that I try to do is we have to make an announcement 10 days prior to the election window, like that it's coming. And so, we post, we provide paper notification in the school. We also send out an email, whatever, and do that. But I think, just trying to make sure that people understand the process is really important.
Yeah.
We, like Adam mentioned before, we didn't have a cap on seats. So really, our school has a history of uncontested seats, if that makes sense, because before there were no number of seats. So really anyone could join community council if they wanted to. But like Adam pointed out, that made our meetings a little bit problematic. When we had so many people that were trying to talk or express opinions or things like that. And so we did recommend a seat reduction, but we still have open seats available where we have not had to conduct an election with voting for, I'm sure, quite a few years. So it's more about just kind of making sure that people know what it is and seeing who's interested in serving.
Well, I have a question on that because some of our verbiage. So in the paragraph above, we're talking about like 7 parent council seats.
Yes.
Talking about half of the 6 are elected in even years and half in odd years. So if we had so let's hypothetically say we had like a 4th parent want to be on the board, want to be on community council.
Yes.
Would they have to run for election because they would exceed the 3? The verbiage there is kind of interesting. That's why I'm just wondering, like.
Say it again because I'm not following what you're saying.
So Adam was Adam, Sydney, and myself were all from this year, which is an even year. Or maybe it's an odd year.
Are you a year? You guys, Rick and Sydney are year 1s. Adam, what are you?
Year 3. So I'm a year 1.
You're year 1. Okay, so you're all year 1s.
Patrick's a year 3 though too, right?
So Patrick? He's a year. So all of you are year 1s.
Yeah.
Because you're
I believe so.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering, like that verbiage about half of the people elected in one part, another half elected in the other. Is there like? Does that mean we have to hold elections if people want to come in? Like if we had 4 people want to join the same year, would that 4th, but they'd have to run for election?
Yeah, let me speak to it. It's kind of 2 different concepts. The half in even years and half in odd years is really what we were speaking to earlier, which is the desire to have, the more experienced council members and then continuously be bringing in people behind. And the idea is that community council is a 2-year commitment, after which, you can sign up again.
Yeah.
But that's the idea, is just to space it out so we don't have everyone who was involved last year all not being involved this year. So I don't think that's like a hard thing. Where the election comes into place is really if there's more parents nominated, then there are seats available. But, this year we had 4 seats out of 7, so there's really no need for an election. So the election is only necessary when there's more nominees than there are seats available. And that's where this window comes up. The announcement window will be open for at least 10 days. So that announcement window is like an email from Mr. Hanson.
And I
It says-
usually use back to school night as the beginning
Oh,
of
there
the
you go.
window, right? So I announce, hey, welcome to back to school night, and today is the first day of our announcement window of the 10 days notice prior to the community council election.
Yep. And so then people can put their names in, or you can nominate someone else. And so once we have that list of nominees, if it's over the allotted number of seats, that's where it'd be followed by a voting window that will be open for at least 14 days.
Yes.
And we last did that 3 years ago. And I believe it was an email to parents, and then there was some kind of survey where they could place their vote, or maybe it was just a response to the email.
Okay.
I can't quite recall how we conducted it.
Okay.
So yeah, any questions on any of that?
No, that
So-
makes sense. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. So if I understand you correctly, so like we're year one, so starting in the fall, like our seats aren't contested because we get 2 years.
That's right.
And so
That is correct.
our seats wouldn't technically be contested until a year from this fall. Is that correct?
That is
That's
correct.
right. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. So once you've got a seat, it's your seat for 2 years.
Yep, unless we have the attendance that's in our rules of order procedure. So if the person has poor attendance, then if it fits the criteria, then that person is removed and then the seat becomes available.
That's right.
Or if the person voluntarily abdicates, their seat or whatever, then it becomes available. But it's yours if you're attending the meeting, and it was yours when you got it, then you still got it
Yep.
until your 2-year term ends.
And that's down here in the attendance section. So if a parent is absent from 3 meetings, the council will consider the seat vacant, and the remaining parent members will appoint a parent to fill the unexpired term. And that's actually how I joined community council. I was not voted in that first election year. And then one of the seats opened up, and everyone agreed that I should join. So yeah, that's the thing that's actually happened within the last 3 years.
Do you want to clarify on the attendance, just because I'm reflecting as I'm reading it? It says if a parent member is absent from 3 meetings, that doesn't mean consecutive. That just means like 3 total. Do we need to add verbiage that specifies that it's non-consecutive, or is that what we mean? Or anybody want to share thoughts?
I would say it's 3 meetings within a school year.
Within the school year.
So maybe we need to add that clarifying.
Yeah,
language.
I would just clarify. I would probably say, Rick, if you're taking notes, that maybe we need to change that sentence to say, if a parent member is absent for 3 meetings during the school year.
Yeah,
we
that's a good
Yeah,
one, and then we can
and then I
vote on
would
that
say
in the first
the-
meeting next year.
Then we can say that the council will consider the seat vacant after the 3rd absence.
Do we want to change that? Like, we need to, are we going to motion and change that officially?
We definitely have to vote on it, and we would like to vote on any changes now. I was just throwing out an idea, so we
Yeah.
can. I know I was telling you to take notes on the verbiage, but yes, we do need to vote on it. That's
Yeah,
something-
if we want to change that, I think I'm fine with that change. I think it makes a lot of sense to change it that way.
Yeah, it's not really a procedural change, it's just a clarification, so hopefully not too contentious. So maybe what we could do is just run through and see if there's anything else, then we could vote on the updates.
Sounds good.
So I don't know that there's anything groundbreaking to touch on up above. On the voting, when we were in person, there was a much more like formal voting methodology. And now that COVID is starting to wind down, I think there's a real question of, should we move this back to an in-person meeting next year?
Okay.
I don't know that needs to be part of the actual orders of procedure, but there's all of this stuff like simple motions of parliamentary procedure, right? To like adjourn a meeting requires a second. To amend a motion needs a majority
Right.
vote.
And
Um,
I'll make a quick comment.
Yeah.
Some of these formal, what we would call formal parliamentary procedures, if a community council member ends up seeking a role on a school board or something like that, having knowledge of these procedures is going to be pretty important, because because like a school community council is in effect like a small school board that's just over, the school and not
Right.
the entire district. And so if we, usually school board members are people who have experience participating on community council. And so, I think that exposing them to, what these types of procedures and stuff like that that are commonplace, at a school board level has merit or some benefit, even though it may seem,
Okay.
a little too formal.
That is helpful context. So we'll leave these in. We'll still try to follow it to our best.
Right.
But definitely in the virtual meetings, it's been much more of a, everyone say your vote.
Right.
So I don't know that we need to run through this in detail,
Right.
but essentially a vote should pass by a 2/3 majority. And if it doesn't, then there's processes for how you go through another vote or put it back up for debate.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Okay.
I
Are
have
there
a quick
any?
comment. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I have a quick comment just on like the Zoom versus in person. I think I feel kind of torn. Like right now I'm sitting in my truck because my daughter's at soccer practice. So it's really convenient to have this on Zoom. But I also think that in person is really valuable too. And like, I mean, like on Zoom, it's hard. Like even there, like I had to talk and interrupt someone, like just because you can't always tell when someone might have a comment. So I mean, not that this is super important, but I think both options are really good and definitely should be looked into more on like what would best serve the population as a whole, like for our parents, and what's more convenient for our parents as well.
Yeah, so just as a point of clarity, we did talk about having like a hybrid option earlier in the year, like one of my first meetings, where we could meet in person, but also have the remote option or the virtual option available as well.
Maybe.
Go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to say maybe the right path forward on this one is to see what our community council group looks like after elections next year. Maybe just discuss as a group in the first meeting.
And my thought process, my thought process was also this, as we reflect on needs and convenience and things like that, for whom are we taking into consideration the community council members' needs or what their personal preferences are? If so, then when we are talking to people about community council, we can even get a personal preference on like, hey, would you prefer to meet virtually? Because my concern is if how we meet determines who will participate or not, I think that should be given some credence. But then at the same time, if we're trying to, if we're trying to think about non-community council members and what they prefer, but at the same time, even though community council meetings are public meetings, unless a person is bringing something to the community council meeting to discuss, we do rarely have public viewers that watch the meeting. People would probably prefer to watch a video on their own time or watch it from the comfort of their home or something like that potentially. But those are just a couple of thoughts that I would share. But I think getting a preference from community council members and from potential new community council members would be a good thing.
Okay. Yeah, if everyone agrees, why don't we plan on that? Maybe the first meeting next year, depending on timing against the elections, we could conduct virtually through Teams, and then we could assess options and preferences in that meeting.
Okay, that sounds great.
I
Okay.
just say like I wouldn't want to like codify it into this rule, like these rules here as a side note.
No, yeah, I
Right.
think it's more just how are we going to meet for the year?
Yep.
I
And,
agree with that.
if we were worried, Rick, we could put something more broad or general, like community council will determine after the elections whether meetings will be held virtually or in person, and then communicate that schedule to the community. You know what I mean? Just something like that.
Yeah, that would be fine too. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if we add that to the attendance section. So we're already clarifying the if a parent member is absent, so maybe we could just put an additional line after that, which is the community council will decide in the first meeting each fall whether to meet virtually or in person. I don't know if there's a more elegant way to state it.
I thought that was very elegant. Rick
thank
did
you.
too.
And I was trying to think of a better way to word that, but I don't have
You got
one.
one, go for it.
So it must be what
Rick,
it
why did you say that?
is. Maybe we could just talk about like we'll determine the method of meeting or something.
Right,
That leaves it up
Yeah.
until different things. Or
right,
the default method or something.
sure.
Okay. So if those are the key items, do you have a draft ready, Rick?
So a draft of this paragraph with the additions.
Yeah. So that we could review it and then vote on it.
Give me a few. I don't have one ready currently. I have the updated changes listed.
Yeah.
Just need to. We just want to put them in that paragraph there.
Yeah, you could just put in there what paragraph we're going to put it in and the verbiage that we're going to use.
Yeah, that would work. Doesn't have to be fully updated paragraph.
I have that.
Okay.
You guys make it.
So yeah, if you'll maybe just talk back through that and then we can vote on it.
Will you please while you're doing that?
What was that, Sydney?
Oh, I was just joking with Rick, telling him to retype the whole thing.
Oh,
No, I was about to go copy and paste it though. Let me just still. Sorry, give me just a few more seconds here.
So while he's typing that up, for back to school night, I think you should have a big booth. It should be the biggest booth out of anybody else's that says community council, because you got to draw attention to it, and have like a clipboard, whatever, just getting people on there. But one thing you could do is kind of like make a game out of it where the parents, they get to put in their opinion about, is it virtual or are we meeting online, and have like a tally going, who's going to win in this. So hopefully it shows these parents that they're getting an input, and if they like it, it will draw them more into community council. I don't know, something like that. You just start showing that it's a fun thing that they can put their opinion in, draws them in, and hopefully get more attending to that.
One idea that I had is, Adam, I'd be happy to purchase something for like a raffle, and that you could do like a little quiz about community council to test people's knowledge about what it is, and then if they do the quiz. They don't have to get a certain number right or anything, but they just have to participate in the quiz and then go over the questions with you. And then if they do that, then they can put their name in a raffle for a prize. And that way you can educate people about what community council is in a fun way. And then
That's a good idea.
maybe if they get a high score, then they get more raffle tickets they can put in, but everybody at least gets one. But the better you do on the quiz, then the more you can put in to win a prize, and then the school can pay for the prize. And so then we just need people to show up at back to school night and have a table that's really shiny, lots of glitter. Sydney
Put a spotlight on it.
There you
Patrick's good at designing glittery things.
No, I'm done at that phases with my girls.
go.
That's true. Your youngest is a boy. So yeah, we could definitely do a booth.
Yeah.
Back to school night starts with the assembly, and then parents go around to like teachers' rooms, right?
Yep, that is correct.
So yeah, we could do a little table.
In the foyer, and yeah.
Yep, just at the front there by
You
like
could
where
get-
the
you could-
teacher pictures are or something.
Did you guys have like some butterscotch candy or I don't remember. I think he had
Something like that.
He had
He had a
something,
booth,
some sort
though,
of
like that.
treat. But then I think doing a 5-question quiz would be good, and then doing a raffle would get people interested in coming and talking to you about it.
Yeah, maybe a quiz and a raffle associated with that, and then maybe even like a nomination sheet.
Yep.
Like
Even
there's
if
anyone
it's like
who'd
a
to
gift card to
nominate.
Fizz or something like that. People participate for that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Just something that people would be willing to stop by your table for and do a quick survey and chat with you to educate them about what community council is.
Yeah, let's plan on that.
Yeah.
And you can put like a dry erase board behind and have them tally like, oh, I want to do it online, or I want to do it at the school.
Yeah,
More
that's a good idea.
participation on
Maybe
that.
like a quiz about community council, the tally, the raffle, and a sign-up sheet or something. Yeah. All right, Rick, you got that verbiage ready before people sign me up for more stuff?
We have been stalling as long as we could.
I
and
even
talking
have the
about this.
full. I even have the full paragraphs. Can I borrow the share of the screen?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So this is what it looks like here. And so we're going to add this sentence here and this sentence here. This is the final verbiage I came up with.
In your paragraph, as I'm reading at the top, it says if the parent is absent for more than 3, or is it supposed to say 3 or more?
Let's say
Three or
3.
more.
Good catch. Good catch for 3 or more.
Yeah, maybe we should just read it out loud as a group to see if anything pops out,
Yeah.
when we verbalize it.
I have all meetings are open to the public and the public is welcome to attend. Community council will, this is the new sentence, community council will decide during the first meeting each fall the default meeting method, i.e. in-person, remote, hybrid, etc. Now
Yep.
back to the old language. Participants can submit statements to the community council chair at least 2 weeks prior to the date of the meeting occurrence to be read during community council meetings. All public statements shall be limited to 3 minutes, and all public statements shall not exceed 15 minutes in total time per meeting.
Can I have so right after where you said that we'll determine the default meeting method, do we have in our language that stated that community council are public meetings? Like, is that stated anywhere that they're public meetings and that community members are welcome to attend?
It's the
That
first
sentence.
sentence.
Oh my gosh, Daniel. That's embarrassing. Yes, thank you.
And then this is the last sentence, the new language begins at the end. If a parent member is absent from 3 or more meetings during the school year, the council will consider the seat vacant and the remaining parent members will appoint a parent to fulfill the unexpired term.
I would just say we don't need the words or more.
Okay.
If a parent member is absent for 3 meetings during the school year, the council will consider the seat vacant. I think that's more clear because it's not really 3 or more. It's just 3 and you're done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So do we have a motion to approve that amendment?
I motion.
I
to-
motion to approve it.
Well,
I second it.
Great.
we should I think you're supposed to vote on this one, Adam.
Oh, yes.
Sorry.
Thank you, Rick.
It's just the opening for the voting. We should vote on majority. We should
Yes,
vote.
that's right. Do we have a motion to vote on the amendment?
I motion to vote for it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Second.
Okay, I vote yes. Yay.
I vote yes.
Thanks, Patrick.
I vote yay.
I vote yes as well.
I vote yes as well.
Okay.
All right, so 5 out of 5. Okay, I think that is everything. Any other items for this school year's community council?
I just wanted to say thank you. Appreciate you guys all and gals, Sydney too. Just everybody's feedback and comments. I welcome your perspectives and your viewpoints, and I appreciate your insights about what types of data we're collecting at our school and things like that to help make it better. And so I appreciate all of you.
Yeah, sure thing. Happy to participate. Okay, if nothing else, I'll motion to close.
Who should I send this verbiage to?
You can either post it. I would like a copy of it so I can update our website.
Okay.
So you can get it changed there.
Yeah, and then just post it to the Teams channel and we'll vote on it in the first meeting next year as well. Vote on the meeting minutes. Yeah. That's one thing we didn't do great this year is update the website. I noticed that Dee is still listed as like the chair and Bob is still on there and stuff. So
Just feel bad. We never want to let them go.
yeah, no, totally. But yeah, that's something we should talk through in the first meeting next year as well, is just ensuring that the website gets updated.
Okay.
We saw
Yeah,
Sarah on there.
Oh, Sarah Burke.
Yeah, Sarah Burke, Joanna's on there, Brittany's on there. Melissa Miller, Jenny Williams, Megan Morris.
So I just before we close, so I know you have to go, Dan. I just want to review our action items because we have like 3 months till we meet again, or 4 months. We're gonna do like a back to school night raffle with a table, nomination form, etc. We're gonna discuss updating the website for community council next time, and we're gonna discuss how we want to meet next time as well.
Yes.
I think it
Yeah.
would be even helpful to have our webmaster that is at our school, like maybe even come to like the first community council where we can talk about making sure they understand everything that needs to be updated and all that. So
That'd be good.
Okay.
And then the only other action item is, because I think back to school nights before the first community council meeting. So the other action item is just presenting in back to school night. And
Yeah.
I'm happy to take the lead on the booth and back to school night, but Rick, Sydney, or Patrick, if any of you would like to speak in back to school night or help with the booth, I'm happy to have help as well. Or even happy for you to do it.
I'm usually there for PTA, so I'm happy to bounce back and forth between and speak or whatever else is needed as well.
Yeah, and I can too if we need to.
Okay, so maybe we just coordinate and speak as a group.
Sounds
we,
good.
That
we can
sounds
even
good.
get you matching T-shirts if you want them.
We already have matching T-shirts.
They won't look
Yeah,
as
yeah,
good as
that's what I do.
PTAs.
That's probably true. Okay. The Teams channel will still be active. Yeah, Mr. Hanson.
Uh-huh.
We can just start coordinating that at the start of the next school year.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, I motion that we adjourned.
Seconded.
I second.
Okay. Thanks,
Okay.
everybody.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good summer.
Okay.
Yeah, you all as well.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, see ya.
Thank you guys.